Let's get right into it here, guys. Now, of course, this is a follow-up to yesterday. Now, of course, yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter dropped a bombshell on everybody, claiming that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. The Hollywood Reporter, not some anonymous user on Reddit, not some obscure little blog. This was the Hollywood Reporter who came out and said that Henry Cavill was out as Superman, that we're not going to see him as Superman again. We talked a lot about that ad nauseum yesterday, some of the problems that we had with it and all that sorts of stuff. Now, shortly after that, though, Warner Brothers put out their official statement. Warner Brothers put out an official statement responding to the Hollywood Reporter story. And here was Warner Brothers' official definitive statement. Warner Brothers said the following: while no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect for and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged. I'll read it again. While no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had great respect and a great relationship with Henry Cavill, and that remains unchanged. Now, I joked about this on Open Mic and the Weekly Hero yesterday, but I wanted to mention it here on the John Campea Show too. This is the most useless, wish-washed, pointless response we could have possibly gotten. So let me get this straight. So I turned to Warner Brothers. Hey, Warner Brothers, Hollywood Reporter is writing that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. Is Henry Cavill out as Superman? Is Henry Cavill going to be Superman anymore? While no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've had great respect for... Yeah, I get that, but I didn't ask you about upcoming Superman films. I'm asking you, is Henry Cavill still Superman? Is Henry Cavill still Superman? I didn't ask you about upcoming Superman films. Is Henry Cavill still Superman? The Hollywood Reporter is saying he's not. What do you say? While no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films, we've always had a great relationship. What the fuck are you talking about? We asked you a simple question. Hollywood Reporter is saying he's not Superman anymore. I'm simply asking you, is he Superman? You're putting out an official statement. Give us an official position. While no decisions have been made about upcoming Superman films, it was a complete non-response. Now, to add to that, Henry Cavill later in the day, he put out a response that was also no response whatsoever. Henry Cavill got on Instagram, and he's wearing this Krypton Lift Club shirt. It's actually a really cool shirt. And he's got some music playing in the background, and he holds up his Superman figure. He did not say that he's still Superman. He does not say, I don't know what the Hollywood Reporter is talking about. He does not say the Hollywood Reporter story is untrue. He does not say, I'm going to be playing Superman in the next WB movie that has Superman in it. None of it. We get this BS response from Warner Brothers, and in a completely coordinated effort with Warner Brothers, Henry Cavill then puts up, Henry Cavill, who is awesome, by the way, puts up this completely ambiguous, cryptic thing, none of which... Now, what happens is when a story gets out there that contains erroneous information, studios step up quickly and say, that story, there's no truth to that story. Studios will step up quickly and go, there are errors in that story. Or they simply won't say anything because they don't believe it's worth addressing. When the Hollywood Reporter comes out and says, Henry Cavill is no longer going to be Superman, and Warner Brothers puts out this BS statement, not saying that the story is incorrect, not saying that it isn't true, not saying that Henry Cavill is still Superman, no decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films. We love Henry Cavill, and we still do. Yeah, but is he still Superman? I think it speaks volumes about the validity of the Hollywood Reporter story when Warner Brothers puts out that weak-ass statement and Henry Cavill puts up that response. I think it speaks volumes to the true validity of the Hollywood Reporter story. Now look, let's just be clear here. I want this story to be wrong in so many different ways. You guys all know I consider Man of Steel to be the single most underrated superhero movie of all time. I think Henry Cavill is the greatest Superman of all time. I love seeing him as Superman. I want him as Superman until I have kids. And my kids can see him as a, albeit older, Superman. That's what I want. I know that's what a lot of you guys want too. Not everybody, but that's what a lot of people want. And I want that desperately. So what is with this Warner Brothers and this Henry Cavill response? I'll tell you exactly what this is. And I mentioned this on the Weekly Hero last night. But for those of you who did not see it, I'll tell you exactly what this is. This is the exact same play from the Warner Brothers playbook of how to deal with damaging news. Keep it cryptic, keep everybody guessing, don't actually address it. I take you back again to Comic-Con, not this past Comic-Con, but the year before. The story came out in the major trades. I talked about it almost 2 years ago, but the major trades brought their story out saying Ben Affleck will no longer be Batman. The day before the Warner Brothers Justice League panel at Comic-Con. And what happened? A bunch of us said Warner Brothers has to deny it. They and Ben Affleck have to deny this story. They have to deny it. You can't have Ben Affleck gone as Batman as your story as you're trying to promote Justice League. You can't have it. You have to deny the story. And sure enough, Ben Affleck comes out at Comic-Con. Yay! As a cheerleader, all he was missing was his pom-poms. Yay, I'm Batman! I love being Batman. It's so awesome being Batman. I'll get down on all fours and play an 8 for Matt Reeves, blah, 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 right? That's what they did. Deflect, deflect, deflect. And shortly after that, the story totally changed. Ben Affleck, I'm trying to find a cool way to transition out of being Batman. Ben, are you going to be Batman again in future movies? I don't know. We'll see. Blah, blah. Oh, what happened to I'm Batman? I'm Batman. It is the standard Warner Brothers playbook. Keep it cryptic. Keep it vague. Keep it convoluted. And deflect, deflect, deflect so we don't have to deal with it. And I'll tell you what right now, it is kind of what they need to do. They've got Aquaman coming out in just a couple of months. They've got Aquaman coming out in just a couple of months. They don't want everything to be about, now they lost Henry Cavill as Superman too. So I'm telling you what, Henry Cavill putting up his Instagram thing is the right thing for him to do. I'll tell you that right now. I know a lot of people don't think so. I'm telling you right now, it was the right thing for him to do. Because regardless if he's Superman or not, he's got a responsibility to this film franchise. It is the professional thing of him to do. And notice he didn't lie. He didn't get on there and say, guys, I just want to set the record straight. I am still Kal-El. I am still Superman. I'm going to be Superman in the next picture. He didn't lie. He put up this very cryptic, vague thing that you can interpret any way you want. Whereas every other studio in the world, if this story from the Hollywood Reporter was not true, and I pray to God it's not true, but if it wasn't true, every other studio in the world would be coming out, the report that came out yesterday is not factual. That report that came out yesterday was erroneous. That's what everybody else would do. Warner Brothers doesn't want to get caught in a lie. They don't want to put Henry Cavill in a position where he has to lie. So they're doing what they need to do. Deflect. Deflect, 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 deflect. And when it becomes official that Henry Cavill is no longer Superman, nobody can look at Warner Brothers or Henry Cavill and say, you lied. You said you were still Superman. He goes, no, I didn't. I just held up a toy with me, Superman. I didn't say I was still Superman. I didn't say I was still Superman. But they also can't confirm it right now, not with Aquaman coming out in a few months. So I kind of sympathize a little bit with the position that Warner Brothers and Henry Cavill are in. You can't confirm the report because you got to try to keep the emphasis on Aquaman. But you can't deny the report either and get caught lying to your fans like they did with the Ben Affleck situation. So they're in a catch-22. It would have been better for Warner Brothers to say nothing. It would have been better for Warner Brothers not to put out this stupid response. No decisions have been made regarding any upcoming Superman films. Yo, Einstein, I didn't ask you about upcoming Superman films. We asked you, is Henry Cavill still your Superman? No decisions have been made about upcoming Superman films. We really like Henry Cavill. but is he or isn't he? So these responses to me, while these responses from Warner Brothers and Henry Cavill were meant to deflect the issue and cause confusion, I got to be honest with you, it would have deflected and caused more confusion to me if they both stayed silent. Them putting out these responses, for me as an individual film fan, I can't speak for you, I'm just speaking for myself. For me as an individual film fan, these responses just confirm the Hollywood Reporter story. Because again, there is no legitimate reason, if you're going to put out a response, then deny the report. Deny it. And they're not doing that. Why? Because they can't deny it. It's true. At least that's what I believe. I believe the Hollywood Reporter here. I think they got their facts straight. They source that they have multiple people inside Warner Brothers who have given them direct quotes about the whole situation. Also emphasizing the fact that they're going to be focusing on Supergirl. There's no plans for upcoming Superman movies. They're going to be focusing on Supergirl and all that other kind of stuff. So to me, it was a very strange, odd choice of responses. I get the Henry Cavill one, because you're playing ball with the studio. You're being a professional. You don't want to undermine the upcoming DCEU movie. I get it from Henry Cavill. I do. I think he did the right thing. He didn't lie. And he was being professional, making sure, trying to not damage or minimize any damage done to Aquaman coming up. I respect that greatly. But the Warner Brothers statement, they would have been best off just not to put out any statement at all. That's just my opinion at any rate. All right, we got a couple topics we need to get here today that are sent in by you guys.